Yebalambarasinet Mairig. Okay, so as we said, in English language, you would take the thing being possessed, which in this sense is Mairig, and you would put it before the ye. So it would be a rank, ye, of honor. Yebalambarasinet Mairig, Mairig, Yebalambarasinet, a rank of honor. This really means honorific title. Okay, this is not a common word for honor. The common word for honor would be kibir, kibir. Okay, but this is specifically an honorific title. But we wouldn't say a rank of the honor, an honorific title. We could actually, but it's a bit of a mouthful. We could just say a rank of honor because it concludes what the entire meaning of this is. And then the last word, we can't quite see it here. Let's see if I can move. Yeah, I can move that. Shomu, 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 shomuacho. Okay, so there's two elements here. We've got the verb. Okay, the simple past, third person formal verb for shomu. We looked at shomu here. We looked at it in the last video. Iye shomu, and it means he appointed, right? He appointed, acho, him formal. So we've got him formal, verb, appointed, him formal, object pronoun suffix. Shomu, acho, shomu, acho. And as we see what happens when the u and the a come together, we have what's called a labiovelar character for the fidel here. So we don't have shomu and acho. The u and the a don't come into contact. They are combined into a wa labiovelar sound. And there's a fidel for that, which is what we see here, which is just the ma fidel with the standing on a platform. Shomu acho. So again, if we look at the syntax of this particular clause, what does it say? He appointed him with the rank of honor in 1868, Amet Meret, or Age of Mercy, similar to AD, or we could use the Gregorian calendar, in 1876 AD, when he was 24 years old. Okay, so if we were to look at this entire sentence, how would we translate it? We would keep the clauses in the same position, but when we read the clauses, we would read them almost backwards according to the parts of speech, the arrangement of the parts of speech. So the discourse marker is at the beginning; it remains at the beginning. Okay, after this or subsequently, as Ullendorff uses, and then we would go almost to the end of the clause in the Amharic and read it backwards. After this, because King Menelik was convinced that he is trustworthy and diligent for government work, after testing him so many times, appointing him over certain tasks, then we go to the next clause, which will begin at the end of the Amharic, okay, to make the translation. Over certain tasks. He appointed him a rank of honor in 1868, Age of Mercy, Amet Meret, when he was 24 years old. So the clause remains in the same position, but the way that we read the parts of speech, the way that the positioning of the parts of speech in the translation are completely opposite. So the syntax of the inside of the clause is almost the opposite in the Amharic language than it is in the English language. And if we just conclude here, as the paragraph doesn't end there, it has one more sentence, and it begins with another discourse marker in the same paragraph. Bezihum zemen, okay. Also, during that time, be zihu mi zemen, okay. Izzy is similar to Izium is similar to Izzy. Okay, so we're essentially saying in that also time. Okay, so of course we would have to deviate from the direct translation here in the English language. በዚሁም ዘመን, also during that time or in that time. የሕግ ሚስታቸውን, የሕግ ሚስታቸውን. And if we break that apart as well, የሕግ ሚስታቸው ን. So there's 4 different morphemes in there. 4 different morphemes. We have as we know, means of. So if we put in this sense, actually, yehig can be used as an some sort of a adjective to say lawful. Okay, yehig. Sometimes when we put the before something, it can be used as an adjective. So in this sense, it does exactly that. So lawful, lawful, of law. Mist means wife. Acho, as we said, is a possessive suffix, okay, and it's the third person formal. Third person formal. So his wife could also mean their wife, but in this context, it would mean in the translation his wife. Okay, yehig mistacho. N, as we know, is an object pronoun. So anything that this is attached to is the object in the sentence. So whatever that we look at in a moment, we're going to look at what the verb is. The verb relates directly to this. The action is being done to this, the lawful wife. Okay. ወይዘሮ የሺመቤት ን. Okay. ወይዘሮ የሺመቤት ን. In wouldn't be n, it would be in. ወይዘሮ የሺመቤትን. Okay. His lawful wife. ወይዘሮ የሺመቤት. And because they're both the object, but they're being explained in different ways, they're taking different titles. One is the lawful wife, and one is the actual name of the lawful wife, the mother of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie. And then again, in brackets, His Imperial Majesty writes in the Amharic, ye, ene, n, ye, enen, enat. Okay? So if you ever see the object pronoun, the object marker, being added onto a possessive here, so yene and not, that would be my mother, my mother. Yene and not. This is the only time, like we said, if it was a noun owning another noun, then you would put the thing being owned in the English translation first, right? But in the English translation, when a pronoun is owning a noun or something of other sorts, then the translation is very direct in terms of the order of the words. So yene and nat, my mother. Yene and nat, this is one pronoun, ene, and nat means mother, ye means of, and n, as we know, is the object pronoun. And whenever you have the possessive taking place like this, the n the object marker is attached to the possessor, so it's inside the two, on the end of the thing which the ye is preposition to. Agabu, agabu. Okay, that means he married. Again, formal. The dictionary form would be agaba, agaba. Okay, and when we pronounce the bu or the ba, there's gemination on the end. In Amharic, this is known as yemitabk, yemitabk. And essentially, it means that the consonant here is geminated. And this is very important. But the consonant here is geminated. So the place where the mouth closes in order to make this consonant sound holds for a little while longer before releasing the sound. In the English language, this would be similar to the word pen knife, the compound word pen knife. If you compound the word pen and knife, we don't say pen and knife. We say pen knife, and we hold the n where we make the consonant sound and then release it. Pen knife. Or book and case, bookcase. We don't say book a case, we say bookcase. Okay, so that's a good way to explain gemination, and it's very instrumental in the Amharic language and also in the Giz language. Very important for preserving lexical meaning. Very important for preserving understanding and helping people to understand what you're saying. It can distort the meaning if we don't use gemination. So it's important for me to encourage that we do use it. Agabu, okay, he married. So again, we can look at each clause. We have the discourse marker stays at the beginning. Also during that time, he married my mother, Wezero Yoshimabit, his lawful wife. And I think if we look at the translation by Ullendorff, at this time, Mekwonen married Wezero Shimabit, my mother, as his lawful wife. So it's very similar to what we concluded about the translation. So if you enjoyed this video and if you enjoyed the content, then please subscribe. We're going to be doing much more case studies. We're also going to be doing some classes in the future on Amharic language, grammar, syntax, morphology, and much more. We're going to be doing more parts to this particular case study on the book of the autobiography of my life and Ethiopia's progress by His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie. And in the future, we'll also be looking at some different case studies as well, different types of language, maybe some literary styles as well. And yeah, we're looking forward to it. So please subscribe if you enjoyed the content. We're going to be doing much more. And yeah, thank you.